Alright, in the last video I showed you the E shape, okay, this E chord. So again, it's an E chord because we have our first finger, there's our root note for an E, and that's the one we want to go by on the third string. This is Mance's Blues, named after Mance Lipscomb. Mance Lipscomb was a songster. Played blues and ragtime, lots of different things, and he came from, I believe it is Navasota, Texas. And he could do alternating bass, but a lot of times he would play in a dead thumb. So he would have like just one bass note going, depending on the chord. If it's an A chord, he would use this over there. So I'm going to play this tune called Mance's Blues, and then I'm going to show you how to play it. Alright, so let's take a look at this. We're up at that E chord. And what I'm doing, I'm staying on this bass, the sixth string, constantly. That's my timekeeper, nice and steady. But with my first and second fingers, I'm playing the second and first string. My first finger's on that second string. It kind of falls in naturally like that. And my middle finger is on that first string. And I'm grabbing all of those notes at the same time. Now, if you don't use your middle finger, well, you can sort of strum up with your first finger. It's important to get at least both of those notes. In the very first measure, I'm going from an E chord, and then I change it up by using my second finger there on the D note on the first string, 10th fret, which is an E7. So I'm going back and forth between these two. In the first measure, it'll sound like this. Now in the second measure, I'm going to syncopate it a little bit. So I have a pinch and then an in-between note, then a bass in between, and two more bass notes. So the rhythm would sound like. In the next measure, I just repeat the first measure. And in the next measure, I repeat the second measure. So if you have the first two measures, you have the next two. In the next line, and here's where the magic of the chord begins. You can see this now. I'm going to move this down to an A chord. And I can tell that's my A chord because that third string is an A note. And that movement that I did here, you can do the same movement here. That's what makes it a magic chord. So here's the next line, and you could hear the rhythm is very much the same. So there we go. We have that A chord to an A7. Then we go back up to the E chord again and play the same rhythm. Now I'm going to go down to a B chord. And here's where we're going to do something a little different with our bass. We don't have a B note in here that we can really grab and do the same thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our fourth string, and that'll work. Okay, so we're going to sound like this. Just like that. Now that would be a B and a B7. Now I'm going to go back to my A, switch my bass to the fifth string, and I'm going to do the. I'm sorry. That's it. So it's the same rhythm as we did the B. last two measures just work off an E chord. So that's Mance's Blues. We'll wait till you see some variations that we're going to use in the next video.